So there I am, sitting in the theater watching Batman vs. Superman. I'm about halfway through the movie, and so far, I'm happy. Batfleck is vibing good with Gal Gadot. I'm liking Mark Zuckerberg. Jeremy Irons is perfect. Cavill is still rocking it as Supes, even though we're not getting enough of him. I'm doing good. Until Batman gets to the warehouse scene. Bats is scoping out a truck and tags it with the tracker. The truck pulls off, and as the last car gets ready to go, the Batmobile headlights pop on. The bad guys panic, Bats floors it, and runs directly into the car. Like 0 to 60 directly into the car. At first I'm like, okay, I'll give him a pass. The car just flipped. They could still be alive. Then Batman grapple hooks the car and drags the damn thing for half a mile and smashes it into another car. Okay, all those people are dead. Very dead. Then one of the baddies starts shooting at the Batmobile, and Bats pops up these machine guns and shoots up the car, and it blows up and he drives through it. Right, those guys are all dead too. A car runs Batman off the road, but not before Batman manages to trick that car to going right into an ultra-convenient oil truck. I'm gonna give him that one was an accident, not really his fault. But then it cuts to these baddies in the truck, who now have a rocket launcher, and Bats flies off a ledge above them and tears off half of the back of the truck. Amazingly, he only gets one of the three guys. Before he can get back to the chase, he gets hip-checked by Supes. Now, as cool as that scene is, the only thing I could think about is Batman just killed half a dozen people. On purpose. It wasn't like a happy accident, except for the oil truck thing. He's tracking them down and tagging them like he's playing GTA. And all I can think is, this isn't Batman. Batman doesn't kill. So the reason I'm bringing this up is because Bounding Into Comics published an article titled, Batman's No-Kill Rule is an outdated comic cliche that needs to end. No. I get where the author Daniel Mills is coming from. He says, quote, horrifying, murderous villains escape and run rampant, continuing their reign of destruction because they're never put to an end. I get that. Batman's rogue gallery is full of some of the most unhinged people in the DC universe. These are serial killers, mass murderers, and vicious terrorists. Every time Batman brings them in, they get out, either by escaping or more usually by just being released. Each time, they up the ante, committing worse crimes than before. It gets to the point where you have to ask why Batman doesn't just end them, put them down, bury them, and forget them. Like Daniel says, quote, this is about breaking down what it means to be a superhero, and whether or not allowing bad things to continue is part of that job. It's about whether or not the killer of Jason Todd, for example, should still be on the loose. Well, obviously the Joker shouldn't still be on the loose. In the real world, the Joker would have been locked up in a Supermax prison and forgotten about long before he had a chance to kill the second Robin. But that doesn't make for good storytelling, so he's got to be free to roam and cause more trouble for Batman. Batman isn't trying to let bad things happen, though. He does try to prevent villains from even getting started, but unlike Superman, Batman can't hear everything. He can't see through walls. He can't get from place to place in seconds. And sometimes, in order to stop a crime, you have to let it start. Batman's no-kill policy defines him in a way completely different from every other hero. With most heroes, their no-kill policy is really about restraint. I have the power to kill you, but I won't. With Batman, it's about trauma. Batman doesn't kill because he watched his parents get killed. He doesn't want to sink to that level, to become the thing that he hates. For him, it's simple. I'm better than you. Now, that doesn't mean he doesn't do bogus shit. I mean, he will cripple your ass in a heartbeat. He'll dangle you off a tall building. He'll let your experiment blow up in your face. He'll smash that vial full of your cure so that you'll stay Clayface. Seriously, Batman, TSA, Clayface has the cure in his hand. He takes it, starts putting his face back together, and then Batman sees it and batterings the shit out of his hand and breaks it. Condemns him to be Clayface for no fucking reason. Unbelievable. But he won't kill you. We've actually seen what happens when you have a Batman that kills. Chuck Dixon spoke about this on a live stream with Ethan Van Sciver. The whole point of Nightfall, when John Paul Valley took over as Batman, was to show what that kind of Batman would look like, and it wasn't pretty. He was violent, crazy, and had a totally warped sense of morality. He was damn near the Punisher in a batsuit. There's really no justifying turning the actual Batman into that. You can do this in an alternate reality story, but never should the real Batman, Bruce Wayne himself, kill. Daniel tries to justify this idea of Batman killing sometimes, saying, quote, "This is about the Dark Knight." That's right, the most famous Batman story on the big screen ended with Batman killing Harvey Dent / Two-Face. Nope. That's not what happened. Yeah, Batman jumped at Harvey Dent to save Gordon's son. Yeah, it wasn't clear until The Dark Knight Rises that Harvey was actually dead. But watch the scene again. Batman does not deliberately kill Harvey Dent. He doesn't push Harvey off the ledge, he saves the boy, and he lets Harvey fall. Yeah, I know, semantics. But there is a difference. One is a deliberate attempt to do something, and the other is just not to act. They're not the same thing. And this is actually part of Christopher Nolan's version of Batman. Like Batman says to Ra's al Ghul, "I won't kill you, but I don't have to save you." That difference is important because ultimately Batman doesn't break his no-kill policy. He's not going to set out, even for a second, to take a life. Where Daniel really loses me is here. Quote, "That's the kind of Batman that needs to exist in the comics. It creates more thought-provoking writing, increases the drama tenfold, and makes for a much more interesting story." No, it's the easy way out. It's way more interesting to see someone who has every reason to take a life not take it than it is to watch them kill. Perfect example, the trench run in Wonder Woman. It's hands down a badass scene end to end, but the best moment is when they get to the town and she sees Steve Trevor shooting the Germans and we get the slow-mo look at her face. She's horrified. She doesn't want to kill anyone, even just to stop them. So she starts going after the Germans Steve is shooting at to take them down without killing them. Except for the sniper in the watchtower, he's totally fucking dead. And that guy she threw out the fucking building, he's dead too. Okay, there's actually a lot of them that's still dead, but the point is she wasn't trying to kill them. The scene would still look cool if Diana killed everyone, but it's more powerful that despite all her power and skill, she tries not to kill. Daniel agrees that no one needs to turn the real Batman into Batfleck, but he says, quote, "That doesn't mean letting everyone live because some writer is going to need him next week." That's one of the many problems of having 37 different Batman stories coming out every week. Everyone knows that nothing in the comic book history is permanent, least of all characters' deaths. But it feels as if the villains are often equipped with more plot armor than the heroes. Well, if we're gonna hold to that, then by now Batman should have lost a limb, been shot in the head, or never recovered from that broken back. Yeah, the villains have plot armor because writers want to reuse those villains. The best way to deal with that is to limit the number of times the writers use those villains. You don't always have to have the same villain popping up in every book so often. The rarer they are, the more it's a treat when they come back. Yeah, that's not good business. People want to see those popular villains. It is good storytelling though. But it's a poor excuse to use a business model as a reason to have Batman kill. Now on the story level, the best way to deal with this is to add some realism into the story. In real life, these villains would be locked up for a long time no matter what vigilante brought them in. As long as Batman didn't mess with the evidence and didn't put the police and the prosecutors in a bad position, these folks would be gone. Do that instead of having Batman kill. But Daniel says, quote, "The man known as Bruce Wayne should absolutely be willing to pull a trigger or throw a batarang if it meant saving that innocent life in Joker's arms. He would, and he is. He just doesn't aim to kill. Yeah, it puts Batman in a tough spot. That's the point. He has a code that he's willing to stick to. He won't kill, but he'll do everything else in his power to stop crime. That does mean that at some point someone will die because he won't take a life. That's a hard choice to make, and it makes him a more interesting character because of it. Why? Because this is something real people do. There have been real situations where someone had the chance to kill an attacker but didn't, and that person went on to hurt or kill someone else. You don't have to agree with it. You don't have to like it. But it is something you have to deal with because it's something real people do. It's nice to have heroes who reflect that. Daniel says that, quote, "Batman needs to be the better man. He needs to rise above the occasion and be that which everyone else is incapable of being. That's what he's doing by not killing the worst of the worst. It takes nothing to kill a terrible person. It takes everything to hold back. That's rising above and doing what others can't do." Then Daniel ends with quoting Gordon from The Dark Knight. Quote, "Jim Gordon said in The Dark Knight, he's the hero Gotham deserves, but not the hero it needs right now." That line has been misquoted for years, but that's it. The crux of the statement being that Batman must become a criminal in order to ensure that Harvey Dent would be seen as a hero. Instead of muddying the character's legacy by letting the public know of the tragic and horrible last days of his life, Batman became a murderer. Arguably the greatest piece of storytelling to feature Batman actually answered the no-kill rule by placing it right in front of Batman, and Christian Bale's Batman did what was needed in the moment. Again, nope. He didn't deliberately kill Harvey. In fact, if he did, it makes this line pointless. You either die a hero, or you live long enough to see your... I actually can't do a shitty Batman voice, I'm actually going to do it right. You either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. I can do those things, because I'm not a hero. Not like Dent. I killed those people. That's what I can be. So we established two things here. One, Harvey really wasn't dead at the end. That was something done for The Dark Knight Rises. Two, Batman shows his character by letting people think he'd do the one thing he would never do. The weird part about Daniel's argument is that he totally forgets about that other guy in the film who caused all sorts of havoc, who hurt and killed scores of people, who tried to make other people kill for no good reason, and, oh yeah, killed the woman Batman loved. And what did Batman do to the person he had every reason in the world to kill? He let the police arrest the Joker. Now, in that context, does it make any sense that Batman would deliberately kill Dent? No. Dent dies from his injuries from the fall, but there's nothing in the scene or in The Dark Knight Rises to suggest that Batman tried to or deliberately did kill Dent. Daniel wraps up with this, quote, Christopher Nolan and David S. Goyer weren't afraid to challenge Batman's rule right in front of everyone, and almost no one noticed. Fans haven't been questioning the death of Harvey Dent in the Nolanverse because it was absolutely justified. It's funny that he says this because Nolan was the one who fought against Superman killing Zod in Man of Steel. His position was that Superman shouldn't kill, I agree, but in the context of the scene and the world that Snyder created, there really wasn't anything else Supes could do. That doesn't sound like a man who intended for Batman to kill Harvey on purpose. Another point to bring up is, this isn't the first time Batman's killed. Go back and watch Batman Returns. He murders most of the Penguin's gang. He puts a bomb on one guy, smiles, and then walks away, and then the dude blows up. He torches another person with the frickin' fire from the back of the Batmobile. Just lights his ass right on up. Nobody said anything about that either. But seriously, Batman isn't supposed to kill. Daniel goes on, quote, more writers, comic writers, should follow suit and start to question the rules and restrictions that have previously defined heroes like Batman. Yeah, they did that. It's called the 90s. He says, quote, how else will they evolve? Evolving doesn't mean having characters kill. That's lazy and boring. One proof? Read 90s comics. It gets pretty old pretty fast. He says, quote, how else will fans get more dramatic and compelling stories that question heroes' moralities? By allowing the characters to grow and change like they would in a novel or in manga. By putting them in situations that challenge their moral codes and show the consequences of following that code. Have Batman fail to save a child's life because he wouldn't kill a serial child murderer. Have him deal with that aftermath. Have him question his no-kill policy. Show us what that looks like and then give us a reason why he should still choose not to kill. That's how you bring drama. You make the characters make hard choices and have them live with them. You don't turn the heroes into killers. But what do I know? I'm just some guy.